Hi everyone, welcome to Nonsense Whisky Live. Now I know it's been a long time since I've done a bit of a live, probably a good few months now, and I can only apologise for that. It's something that I'm going to change, but it's about time frames for me. But I'd just like to say a massive hello to all of you who are currently watching. I've had a lot of chat going on while I've been kind of setting up and stuff like that, so I'm going to catch up with you guys in just a second. But first of all, I just wanted to say thank you all for everyone for dropping into this live, because this is an absolute huge milestone for me, and that's the 5,000 subscribers. I did plan this live to hopefully hit around the 5K, so I was quite lucky to actually hit it, but I did hit it, and superb. I cannot thank any of you enough. It's been absolutely brilliant ride the last few years, and 5K has just blown my mind. But also today is another special occasion because I've got the release of my whiskey coins, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But to start with, let's say hello to a few people in the chat, and then we'll talk about these fine whiskies I've got in front of me. Now, if you caught my Twitter feed, you'll know what whiskies they are already, but I've been given an absolutely brilliant lineup by a good friend of mine, Whiskey Freedom, Fraser. Unfortunately, he can't join us today in the chat, but I'm sure he'll catch it on the replay. Let's check out who's in the chat. I'm going to scroll back all the way to the start from before I even started. About half an hour before I even started, people were already joining in, so thank you very much for that. We had Jason Whiskey Wise, of course. He's my moderator tonight. Thank you very much, buddy. Ard Baggy and the absolutely brilliant Kenneth Kennelty. Hi, dude. Whiskey Geek Ben. Of course, I'm going to shout out other channels here today as well. So, of course, Jason Whiskey Wise, Whiskey Geek. You should go and check both of them out. Whiskey Whistle. He's another one you should definitely go and check out. All of these people you need to go and check out, definitely. The Doc McCallum Fine and Rare. Hey, dude. How you doing? Whiskey Bowman, thank you very much for joining. Of course, Prestige Licorice WW. He's just started a channel, still finding his feet with that a little bit, but you should definitely go and check him out. I think he's actually just dropped out of the chat because he's in Australia and probably just has to go to work. Funny thing, right? The lives, because for me, this is Thursday evening, but I'll have people watching in America for Thursday afternoon. There'll be people in Australia, and that's Friday morning. Absolutely astounding. Love it. Absolutely love it. Scroll down a few bit. There's a lot. I'm not going to go through all of the chat. Toby Field, thank you very much for coming in, dude. A few more hellos. Sid Martin, of course. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And are we nearly done? Oh, there's a few more. Multi-Haggis Muncher. Excellent. I love that name. It's brilliant. Thank you very much. Redbow RF. Cheers, dude, for coming in. The Last Drop. There's another guy who set up a YouTube channel recently. Chris, you should definitely go and check him out. Ebhead's in, brilliant. I think I've missed a couple as well. Ben Marnock, Razvan Oral, Drumbrava, testing me, and Paul Gibbs and Graham Young. Thank you very much. Everyone's saying congratulations for the 5K. I know it really has been superb to see that number. Genuinely, I have to say, I know I've said this sort of thing before, but when I started doing this whiskey channel, I literally had 20 subscribers, which is I've had a channel since 2006 when YouTube started. And I used to add little crappy videos that I made. They've all been removed from the channel now, but maybe one day I'll release a few of those to you guys because some of them are really funny in a kind of crap kind of way. But I had a few friends subscribe to my channel, and it just didn't really go anywhere from that. I always fancied being a YouTuber, but didn't really know anything about anything. And then when this kind of whiskey stuff started happening, there was only a few channels around, and I thought, I'll give that a go. And I sat down and watched some of those early videos. They really are terrible, but I sat down just to gab on about whiskey because there was nobody else that would listen. So I thought I would give that a go. Never, ever truly believed that people would ever watch it outside my family and friends. So to see literally every single person in the chat here is people that I either don't know that well or people that I've met since starting the channel. So I can't thank any of you enough. Let's talk about some of these whiskies, shall we? Because I've got an amazing lineup here today. And that was given to me by a good pal of mine now called Whiskey Freedom, Fraser. He works at Hampton Manor in the Midlands. It's a very upmarket kind of hotel and restaurant. And there's a really nice whiskey bar going on there. And he let me have my pick of the bar. And I genuinely felt terrible going in there and choosing some of these things because some of them were sealed and they would be worth a lot of money that they are now not worth a lot of money because he opened them for me. So from this side to this side, and I've ordered them in kind of a tasting way because although some of these are going to be exceptional to start with and moving on to not the less exceptional, but the less expensive, let's say. I've ordered them this way because of increased flavour and because of higher ABV. But over here, we have a Rosebank 12-year-old Flora and Fauna. We've got a Longmorn 1973 42-year-old. That's the Gordon MacPhail 2015 bottling. We've got a Redbreast 21. We've got the Signatory Cloynleash 1995 22-year-old 56.3%. And here, I've done this last. This is the youngest one. This is the Smurgen Barrique 60.37-year-old. And I've put it last because it's 60.3 and the only peated one on the table. So I'm going to have a little sip of water and then we're going to get into the Rosebanks. But after a while, we'll talk about the coins and what they're doing. But let's see what everyone else is talking about first before we move on to that one, shall we? I'm going to pick this one up and have a sip anyway. I don't know if you can see my coins are on. They're on the glasses already, and I'll read these numbers out in a bit. Now I've heard good things about this Rosebank, and it is the first Rosebank I've ever tried. Who are we saying hello to? Chris Beaton, thank you very much, dude. Dwayne's in, brilliant. Dwayne's just had my first US shipment of coins in, so hopefully you'll see some pictures of him with the coins. I think he's about to go to Scotland as well, which would be awesome. I'm not even sure what I can say about this thing. What a nose on it. The kind of major thing I'm getting on it is pineapples, which is a bit weird. Not a huge fan of pineapples, I must admit, but this is kind of like sherbety, kind of fizzy fruits, that kind of thing. I'm going to try some. Okay. Oh, there's lots of spiciness there. I wasn't expecting that. Way more pineapple than the nose. And it's made my mouth start instantly salivating. I mean, that's really good. I can see what everyone's making a fuss about. I didn't look up how much this was on the secondary market because I know it's not for sale anymore. I didn't want it to upset me. That's the only reason I didn't look. I imagine it's ridiculously expensive. Oh, man. And that's just the first one. What am I going to do with the rest of these things? Now, I should say as well, now this tasting lineup is incredible, and it isn't my usual review style kind of thing that I do here, but I couldn't pass up an opportunity like this, of course. I did think about holding some of these back and doing a review, but I'm not sure. I don't think I could do some of these justice. The Redbreast 21, probably yes, but the rest of them, we'll see. Who else is in here today? So Jason Whiskey Wise is forwarding on me stuff. So if you do want to say hello about anything in particular, then make sure you send a message to me or Jason, and that'll get through to me. I'm pretty sure I'll catch most of it because I don't draw the same sort of crowds as Aquavite does, but that's probably because I don't do many lives. It's all on me, right? And I should also say, if I'm looking a bit pink, it's very warm in here. I've got the window open, but we'll see. Let's talk about the whiskey coins. I did want to hold this back until a bit later on, but I'm so excited about these things that I've got to share them. I've got to share them. It's an absolutely brilliant thing to be involved in. I'm absolutely loving the fact that I've got these coins now. And I should have bought more, but you've got to put some money down to get them. Anyway, now if you haven't seen these already, the whiskey coins, I've got a big stack of them here. And they all started with the Scotch test dummies. Now I've got from their cask 2. It's these ones here. My light kind of bleeds things like this out. And I've got Scotch 4 dummies coins. I've got a lot of Scotch test dummy coins. I've got Aquavite coins. I've got an Eric Waite coin on the way as well, which would be cool. His one's metal, which is interesting. I like that. I did look at the metal ones. Anyway, I've got mine. And this is what they look like. And on the other side, this is what they look like. They're all numbered. I've got numbers 1 to 250. But as is true style with these coins, I've held back the first 10 because I'm going to do something special with them maybe in a few years' time. We'll see. But here's the thing, right? If you've already let me know about wanting some of these coins, you don't have to repeat that. That's fine. But if you haven't let me know and you are interested in these coins, then go into the description in this video. You can do it now or later, whatever. There's no rush. And I've done a blog post about exactly what you need to do to get them. There's a spreadsheet on there that has availability of coins, and that includes green for available, orange for ones that have been reserved, and red for ones that are definitely unavailable and will never be available again because they've been sent off and gone. So if you want to get your hands on that, go to that blog post and see what you want, find the numbers you want, and email me, nnwhiskey without an E, @gmail.com, and let me know the number you want, and I'll reserve it. It's going to be a bit of a rush to start with, I imagine. So kind of first come, first served. So if you don't get your number, don't worry about it. We'll find a number for you. But if you're not bothered about the number, you can go straight in and purchase a coin. They are £10 each, and they are £2.50 shipping to the UK, £5 to the EU or Europe in general, and £7.50 further on. But that's only a one-hit shipping fee. The more coins you buy, the same shipping fee. But yeah, go and check that link out and see what coins you might want, and I'll pick up the emails and be shipping out within the next few weeks. You know, especially the international guys, you'll have to give me a bit of time to get them out because I work a full week. But hopefully you guys are going to like these coins. I am really loving the design of them. Really loving the design of them. It's got like around the edge, it says honest whiskey reviews every Monday and Thursday. Just a little reminder. But my favorite thing about it is this on the back, and it just says my no hand. So in a corny kind of way, you could use it as a little bit of a decision maker as well. So you could have a yes side and a no side. But most people, I think, will use them as whiskey hats, which is what I'm using them for today. And today, just to help you along, I've got coins number 103, 104, 105, 106, and 107 on the table. There you go. Anybody who's got one already or has seen them, what do you think about the coins? I'm going to go back while I'm nosing this Rosebank again. I am going to move on to the next one, I promise. But I'm going to see what everyone's been saying. I'm sure I'm missing stuff already. People are telling me about how much that Rosebank costs. Oh, so much money. It wasn't that much when it was released, was it? It was about £300, surely. Yeah, Andy Arbaggy saying about £300. Excellent, excellent. Greg's in as well. Hey, Greg. How you doing, man? Greg gave me a sampling set of cognacs, and I haven't brought them to video yet, and I'm not sure I will. I may just do a written blog in the end, but I don't know anything about cognacs yet, so I'm holding back on that until I go to the cognac show in the UK at the end of April. It's the trade show I'm going to, so if you're part of the trade and you go into that trade show, then let me know, and I'll meet up with you there. Jason Whiskey Boys is saying it was £65 on release. That's upsetting. Upsetting. I miss out on all this kind of stuff. Now we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. People are saying the coins look great. Oh, Baggy, he's got a coin. The thing was, my patrons got released to first. So this is general release today, but my patron subscribers have had probably about 3 weeks worth of time to get some coins on. In fact, I've managed to even ship some to Dwayne. So that's how long they've had. So if you are interested in stuff like that, then you should go and check out my Patreon. You can join that for $1 a month at least, and you can get involved in all stuff like that. Might not be doing coins again for a couple of months, but you never know. Let's move on to this Longmorn 1973 under coin 104. Now, this is a 43%er. And I put it after because we're talking 42 years. It is one of the oldest whiskies I've ever tried. Not the oldest. The oldest was a 58-year-old single grain. Stunning. Yeah, Greg saying it is better to try those cognacs a few days after the show. Yeah, that's what I thought, because I don't know anything about cognac. So I think they would just taste the same to me right now, but hopefully we'll see. And Greg saying, I'm not crazy about coins, honestly. Whiskies are more important, but these ones seem cool. I completely get it, Greg. Honestly, I do. When I first first picked up the Scotch Test dummy coin, I bought it along with my hat that I bought of theirs, and I was a bit like, I'm not really sure what I'm buying here. Challenge coins are a big, big, big thing in the American military, and they've got several different uses. It's all about kind of team play. You know, everyone in the squadron has one, and you can swap them between people. Even the president of the United States has got one. Every president has their own design, and they kind of sneak it into people's hands when they handshake. So it's kind of like a little club as well as anything else. But they serve a challenge purpose. And you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but my research told me that the idea is you carry this coin around with you. And if you go to the bar or the pub or whatever, and you challenge all of your mates, get your coin out, and the people that don't have the coins have to buy the drinks. Like that. Of course, you can use it to heads and tails. You can use it to whiskey top. You can use it to decision make. You can just use it as a collector's piece, because things like this, like the Scotch Test dummy one, they've done like 4 or 5 casks of this now, and the numbers just keep going. So I've got 339, and that makes me want to buy the next batch so I can keep my 339. And they make excellent collector's items, I think. Eventually, I'm gonna have a big old stack of them. So yeah, like I said, when I first saw them, I didn't really get it, but the more I'm seeing of these coins around, especially in the whiskey tube world, I understand it more and more, and I understand why people want these things, which is, yeah, crazy but awesome. Jennifer Wally says, "I've heard whiskey is the poor man's brandy." That's my brother's girlfriend. Bless her. Thank you for watching. This might be quite boring for you, but never mind. So I do have some family and friends watching. Then brilliant. I like that. The doc says you can open beer bottles with the coins. I'll have to try that. I'll have to try it, especially I wouldn't want to try one of the ones that I bought, but maybe one of the ones of my own that I'm going to keep, because obviously I've got to keep at least one of my own, right? Airped saying, what does 339 mean to you? Well, funnily enough, nothing. I got it because it was just the coin they sent me first. So I just bought a coin, didn't think anything of the numbers whatsoever, and that's my number now. With the Scotch 4 dummies, I've got number 35. Didn't even have the option to pick a number, so I just got sent whatever number they had. I've got all 4 of theirs in number 35. So now those numbers mean something because of the numbers. That's it. I'm gonna try this. Sorry, this is gonna take me a minute, I think. Oh, I mean, wow. That's genuinely the first sip of that I've had. That's got a huge, huge, huge sherry hit to it. More than I thought it would have. Huge spices to it. After 42 years, I thought that would have diminished. It's a real kind of easy drinking dram still, but the nose doesn't have any of that on it at all. None of it at all, but that palate. Wow, I mean, that's just fabulous. Again, another exceedingly expensive whiskey that I would never have got to try otherwise, but never mind. I've just seen Whiskey Wins pop up. Hello, dude. I've actually got, heads up. I've actually got one of your glasses on the go right now. Thank you very much for that. That's under coin 107, and with the Schmurgen Barrique, which we'll get to a bit later on. But right now, I'm enjoying this. Graham says, is this Longmorn, the Gordon and MacPhail bottling? Yes, it is. In my research, there was 2. And this is the more recent one, the 2015 bottling. And I did see that as quite expensive. But this was actually one of the only ones that Fraser didn't have to open for me, which is awesome. The rest of them, I felt terrible. We actually went down into the cellar to pick out some more ones. Absolutely incredible generosity. What I'm trying to do is maybe think about organising a tasting down there. So it won't be good for worldwide people, obviously, but maybe we'll live stream it. But try and get. I mean, the setting there is beautiful, like leather chairs and huge like wood-clad walls and things like that. Really stunning place. Would be absolutely amazing to do some kind of tasting there, I think. Welsh Toros agreeing. Whiskey really was the poor man's brandy. Yeah, I mean, I was saying this years ago. It's most of these spirits that we drink now, like gin and whiskey and things like that, all started out way back when they were first invented as poor man's whiskey, poor man's spirits. And it was only by happenstance and, you know, how trends change and availability and how much people will pay for things that they've become kind of a bit more premium. Mm. I'm going to leave that one there and come back to that because that one's flummoxing me a little bit because it's extremely complex. So, how's everybody doing? That's really the big thing about this, isn't it? Because it should be a celebration about you guys. You people that watch this channel, because you're the ones that make it happen for me, really. And that sounds really corny to say, but I would do this even if I wasn't watched. You know, I've had videos that were only watched sort of, you know, 10, 15 times to start with. And now we're kind of pushing up into the 500 in the first couple of weeks, which is incredible. But the more you guys watch, the more it pushes me to kind of want to carry on making this content. Because really, I'm just a guy sitting in his spare bedroom. You know, I don't have any training. I'm not part of the industry. I've never worked in a bar. I've never worked in the drinks industry. I'm just a average whiskey drinker, really just drinking average whiskey. That's my usual remit, which is kind of why I wanted to do this. This is a very special thing. Talking of which, the next one is the Redbreast 21-year-old, which is probably the most available on this table right now. Jason says you deserve it. Thank you very much. So the thing is, there's this thing that we talk about called imposter syndrome. Really funny. You should Google it if you're not sure what I mean. But it basically means people like me will put out content and get praise for it, but never accept it because it's like I genuinely don't feel like I'm doing anything good. Everything I do, I think, is crap, and I put it out anyway because it's just a hobby, and it's just what happens. You know, it always surprises me that people watch my videos. Genuinely does. I'm just going to push my window open a little bit more because I can see myself getting quite pink. It's very warm in here. I've got this new halogen light, and I bought cheap, and I've got halogen. Roy would have told me to buy LED, I'm sure. Roy sends his apologies, by the way. He's at a tasting tonight. Hopefully he'll pick it up a bit later on, but unfortunately he won't make it to start with. Mm. Mm. Oh, that's fabulous. Whiskey Geek says he's got a cold, so he's still abstaining from whiskey. Dude, I have to say, I think most people here would disagree. If you've got a cold, that's even more reason to drink whiskey. Get it down here and get the cure on. But I do understand what you're saying about giving the liver a break. I put out 2 videos a week, and I tend to record those videos on the day I put them out right now, which is not very good. But I'm trying to get ahead of myself. But that means I'm drinking at least twice a week. But then research and then weekends, whatever. So really, I'm only having about 2 to 3 days maximum off at the moment, which is something again I'm trying to change. Now I think, yes, I've just had a super chat. Thank you very much, Graham. This one's to you, the Redbreast 21. Congratulations on 5K, many to go. I really do hope so, you know. I mean, this will never be a viable career for me, I don't think. I mean, even you look at Ralphie. Actually, it's an interesting subject that we should talk about a little bit because there's been recently some controversy from certain blogs and Facebook groups, Facebook people, I should say, about the YouTube community, the growing YouTube community, and the potential for money making, let's say. Now, it's a really difficult thing to do because, yes, YouTube does pay creators. You do have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers, and it's 4,000 watch hours within the last year. That's 240,000 watch minutes. It's not that hard to get. It took me about a year to get to that sort of stage. But even now, 5,000 subscribers, we kind of earn about 2 to 3 cents per view that we get, and that's a rough figure because really it's just whoever watches an advert, and then if you see an advert, then some money comes through. But even people like Ralphie, if you look at his estimated figures, he's on like 130,000 subscribers, but he must earn something about $1,100, $1,200 a month, which even that isn't enough to live on, right? It's not a minimum wage payment. So it's a bit of a strange one. It's a bit of a strange one. How many of the 5,000 listen regularly? Well, that's the real thing, Ben, is not many, to be honest, and that's it's just nature of it. You know, some subscribers catch up, but if my statistics show right now, in the last 28 days, 75% of my views come from non-subscribers. So it's a really funny thing, YouTube. The actual subscriber number doesn't really translate to how well your channel's doing. It's just that for me, it's a good gauge of people that are interested in my community, and that's the important thing for me. And that's something that I'd always want to impress on anybody who's skeptical about what we do. There are some people that don't talk to any brands at all. There are some people that get paid by brands. Personally speaking, I've never been paid by a brand. I have been given things by brands, and I'm always completely clear about that when I get given something by a brand. And I never take anything from a brand without the proviso that I can say what I want about it. I think that's the key thing. Redbreast 21 anyway. I'm absolutely loving the sherry notes on that. That's a real punch, that is. A real... I've forgotten what percentage that is. I didn't write that one down. But still, I imagine it's in the early 40s. Really fantastic, really fantastic. Jimmy Jazz says, always enjoy what and it shows that you love it. Well, it's true, I do. Again, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm not the most knowledgeable person on whiskey and whiskey tube. There are far more eloquent people than me, but I hopefully am covering my nice little niche of short, sharp videos talking about whiskies that most people can go out and get, because that's all I can get, right? Because if you see me with a bottle, good examples, I've got bottles down here, Penderyn, Sherrywood. I've got things like, I'm reaching over, it's very unprofessional, apologies. Bullet 95 rye with a Glenmorangie cork in the top because the cork broke. But, you know, stuff like that, this is all I can afford right now. So that's what I'm covering. Maybe one day I'll get to do a few more, but who knows? Toby's just saying, yeah, it was 46%, and he did a blind tasting. Yes, I did see that. Very interesting stuff, actually. Very interesting. Toby, he's just sort of starting with a YouTube channel. He's had it for a while, just like me. He's had a channel previous to his whiskey stuff, and it was kind of a personal channel. He's now doing more stuff like that. So if you want to see it, like different videos to what we're doing, I mean, I do weekly reviews. Roy does his kind of very finely polished recycled reviews and his live streams and things like that. But these blind things are very interesting. So he knows what they are in advance, but they're in whatever order he puts them down in, and he's not sure which specifically they are, which I think is a very interesting thing to do. It's really difficult to do completely blind from nothing. Really difficult, as you've seen from Roy's challenges that he sends out. You should go and check out his playlist, those if you haven't seen them, because they're really good. Mine was first, I'd just like to say. Well, apart from Queeg. Queeg was the tester, and then I was the second test. Ha! Amazing. And Whiskey Bowman as well is saying sometimes subscribers will watch without logging in first, which is very true. You never know what's going to happen. I actually think, I was talking to a few people about this recently, I actually think that the subscriber button will become less and less important on YouTube, because the home screen is really where they're pushing it at the moment. So if you log on to YouTube for the first time and you click on a video from the home screen, it tells YouTube that you want to watch that video more than anything else right now. And that means that that video will show up in other people's home screens more often. So if you log on and you see my video and you click it first, that video stands a better chance of doing well on YouTube, because if nobody watches it in the first couple of weeks, it tends to disappear off into obscurity, and then it only stays in people's subscriptions feed. Very complicated, YouTube, very complicated. And I think that's what most people don't see when they start a YouTube channel. And I think people like Toby will be able to tell you now that he's just started. There's a huge learning curve after you decide to start putting content on YouTube, because anyone can sit there with a camera and go, here's content. But when you start trying to understand what's going on in the background and sort your editing process out, it just starts doing this, and it really is quite difficult to understand what YouTube wants from you as a creator. Every now and again you get lucky. My White Walker video, if you haven't checked that one out, you should. I've had nearly 150,000 views on that video now, which is insane. Way more than any of my other videos. I mean, way more than any of my other videos. But all I did there was put a video out at the right time, and I was pretty much first to do it. So I got lucky there. There was no commercial value to that whatsoever. I've still got the bottle down here because I'm finding it very difficult to drink, actually. I use it as my palate cleanser now because it's so neutral. It's unreal. Yeah, I didn't like that. Didn't like that one. Yeah, Airhead says Anna slaughtered. I thought I was actually quite nice about it, to be honest. But true story as well. I did say some rather nasty things about it in a nice British way, and then I met the Diageo rep Colin Dunn for the first time. And when I met him, I knew who he was. And someone said, "Oh, this is Colin." I said, "Oh, Colin, nice to meet you." And he looked at me and he went, "Vim PF of No Nonsense Whisky. I've seen your White Walker video." And I was like, "Oh no, Diageo's seen my video." What? And that's when it really hit home that it doesn't matter how big your channel is, people like Diageo are watching. You know, they're not ignoring us. They're watching it and they're understanding what we're saying, even if they're not conversing with us. I've never had a official conversation with any Diageo person apart from at a tasting or whatever, but it's incredible. They are watching and they are paying attention. Very important. So just not be careful what you say, but just be aware of that if you are doing a whiskey channel. The doc says use it to clean the floor. I can't bring myself to do it. It's not terrible enough to throw away. It's not terrible enough to throw away. Yeah, Whiskey Geek saying the White Walker isn't meant for us as demographic. You're quite right, it isn't. Let's talk about it a little bit, shall we? Someone else said. But yeah, it isn't meant for us. It's meant for people who like Game of Thrones and they like snazzy things and shiny bottles. And it's designed to not offend people when they try it for the first time. Because if I give them something like the next one I'm going to try, the Clynelish 1995 22-year-old, that's going to blow someone's mind if they've never drank whiskey before. This won't. My only downside was that I thought it would put people off, but actually people are saying they quite like it, and it's just people who drink whiskey won't like it, I don't think. That's just my personal opinion. I don't want to pour any. I was going to show you the color of it, but I don't want to pour any of it out because then I'll have to drink it on camera again, and that's not what I want to do. Unless all of you tell me to, I guess, but please don't. Let's move on to the Clynelish 1995 then. This is under coin 106. I've just noticed as well my my emails have started blinking. That's something for me to start. And my PayPal has started blinking as well. Thank you very much for people that are buying coins while I'm on the stream. I will get back to you once I finish the stream, maybe tomorrow. We'll see how I get on because it's going to be closer to midnight, I think, after I finish this. Because, unfortunately, I have no quiz for you. I don't want to step on Roy's toes. Roy's quizzes are amazing. The ones I do catch. Usually I can't catch them because it's my bedtime, about sort of now-ish, but my wife is away today, so I'm taking the opportunity to be as loud as I want to be and talk to you guys. Clynelish 1995. Now, I have had this one before. So I'm just reading some comments here. Ben Whiskey Geek says, don't do it. Thank you very much for imploring me not to do it, because it was the kind of thing that some people would do it. This thing, I have had this one before, as I said. This is the 56.3% version. I've had a different one before. I've had one at about 53%. Let's try some. I know this one packs a real punch. Huge, huge ABV hit, huge spice hit. And for me, it's kind of an underlying citrusy note to it, like orangey. Really good. Gus is in. Hello, Gus. Yeah, Colin definitely would. If anyone's ever met Colin, he's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I can't believe he's still got the energy for it, to be honest, because I've stood next to him for an hour while I covered a stand at the local festival. And he's just got so much enthusiasm for it. And at one point, he even air poured some not whiskey into someone's glass because they were too drunk, and they didn't even notice. It was a stunning move. And he even he was like, "Well, no whiskey involved. Yeah, this is what you're trying." And the guy was like, "This air, stunning, absolutely stunning move." Yeah, Doc says the German Diageo guy said it needs to be cooled way down. We're still talking about this. It can be cooled down. I hated it when it was cold. It literally tasted of nothing at all. Not for me at all. Not for me. Eric says I should receive my coin next week. Brilliant. Thank you very much, mate. I have your coin in a package behind me, but I've been struggling to get to the post office. So I will go on Saturday to get my next batch of coins out. I've got lots going to the US and Canada, especially to my fellow YouTubers. So hopefully those guys will see coins dropping in their boxes soon. Anybody who picks up a coin today, it might take me 1 or 2, let's say 1 week to get round to sending it out to you. So if you are international, it might be a bit of a delay, 2-3 weeks for delivery, but you will get it. You will get it for sure. Let's have a look. I haven't checked out my stats. 44 people watching. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. My God, I think that's my record. Well done. Thank you very much for that. So what I'll do then, I'll just talk about my coins again, shall I? Because since there's more people in, it's the coins. Where's my thing gone? I've just started up the wrong app. Bear with me. Amateur hour. There we go. Coins. I think they look brilliant. Obviously, I would say that. I'm very happy with them. I'm not going to show you the rolling side because that's for people that actually have the coins in hand. Nothing major. Just a couple of little interesting features. A couple of little words that I think people will find interesting. This one is coin 106. And it is covering the Clynelish 1995 at the moment, which I am instantly in love with, and it is very, very, very expensive. Not as expensive as some of the others, but for me, too much. But you just can't argue with the quality of it. Now, my screen might lag a second because I accidentally started Adobe Premiere Pro while I was messing about then. Never mind. In the chat right now is my brother, Alex French. He says, congratulations for 5K. And he got a free coin. Bless him. What's the point of having family that do stuff like this without getting free coins, right? Seriously, Sirius, he's just dropped a super chat in. Thank you very much for that, my friend. He is a super loyal patron subscriber and a bit of a legend at that, indeed. GoHabs has also said, looking forward to receiving my coin. You shall, my friend, you shall. My brother has number 33, yes. So you can see, even not only did he get a free coin, but he's also gone for one of the more valuable lower coins. But what can you do? Family's family, right? You don't get to pick them. Gus says, you comment Game of Thrones whiskies not been for us. Dalmore. Indeed, my friend. Indeed. Toby's asking for more likes. I think, Toby, are you doing the Amy of today? Amy on Aquavite's streams is always asking for likes, which I really like. It's nice for people to do that. And I've got a few people counting up. 50. Someone says 50. 50 indeed. Yes. I'm sorry, I'm kind of lost for words over this Clynelish. Now, these first two were fantastic. They're actually getting a little bit misty with the temperature in here. So I'm going to take these coins off to let the evaporation happen a little bit more. But yeah, those were fantastic whiskies. But for me, this is where it's at. I am a big fan of my higher ABV whiskies. In fact, should we do something a bit off-piste? Let's add a bit of water live on camera. And I don't usually do this, as you know. But I do it off screen these days. Let's have a little drop and see what we get. A couple of drops. And we'll leave that sitting there. We'll leave that sitting there. There's a couple of people talking to each other. A little bit of French. I'm working on my French, Greg. I don't know if you probably don't know this at all, but my mum has a place in the south of France near Carcassonne. So I'm working on my French, but not to the point where I would ever talk it on screen, or probably even to the face of someone French. But it works well in the supermarket or wherever I am going in France. I can usually get by to ask for a menu or some such, but we'll see. We'll see. Razvan says, I see you've learned that water is your friend. Yes, I have learned that. I did a stream with Roy, God, I want to say last year, but it might have even been before that. And I genuinely had an epiphany moment then. I was like, nope, nope, nope. And Roy said, right, here's a whiskey I want you to try. And I owned the whiskey. It was the Glengoyne cask strength. Fabulous, fabulous whiskey. But I tried that, tried it with water. And genuinely, for the first time, I discovered a different whiskey inside that whiskey. And it blew my mind. Wow, there is a lot more coming out of the nose for this. It was quite a relaxed nose before, I would say. But now I'm getting... Yeah, weirdly, I'm getting a lot more appley notes on it now. A lot more fruits. Kind of orchard fruits. Really nice. Oh, and the spices have really come through. Now the ABV's been not a lot, not brought down a lot, but just enough. A lot more spicy. A lot more apples coming through on the tongue as well. That's fabulous. Greg said a nice little comment there. You've got to trust yourself more. If you stay humble as now, you'll see viewers grow. Thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate that a lot because that's what it's all about here. You know, don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love this channel to go up to the millions of subscribers and for it to be my full-time job and for me to travel the world talking about whiskey. But I am not bothered about that. It's a hobby for me. If it happens, it happens. I'm not going to push for it. I'm trying to do things outside of whiskey YouTube in the real world. I live in a town called Coventry in the United Kingdom, and I'm trying to do a whiskey society there. But I don't want it to take away from this hobby as well. You know, this channel is my baby, and I want to see it grow as much as I can do, really, within my own remit. You know, one day. Someone said something about coins. David Evans, thank you very much for joining, dude. You did miss the bit about coins, but I'll go through it again. No worries at all. Because I want to see these go to as many of you guys, my subscribers, as possible. I would love to see these things over the internet. I have a batch of 250 to start with because I wasn't sure how many people would actually want these things. But that said, I've had a lot of interest. So if you are interested, I would get involved sooner rather than later. There is a link in the description to this video, first line, and it takes you to my website, nononsensewhisky.com. And on there gives you the full details of the coin and the best ways to go about buying them. I don't have an online store yet, but I'm working on it. It won't happen for this batch of coins, though. So if you want this batch, this is the way to do it. And it's... yeah, you need to go on there, check out the spreadsheet, which says the availability of numbers. If you're interested in numbers, then you need to check that out first to see what's available. You can email me and I will do the check-in for you. It's non-editable, so you just can look and it'll be first come, first served on those numbers. Then you have to email me at nnwhiskey without an E at gmail.com and let me know what numbers you want and I'll reserve them. Then you have to go to PayPal. There's a link on the blog which takes you directly to my PayPal me, but you can send PayPal directly to NN Whisky, again without an E, at gmail.com. It's £10 per coin. It's £2.50 shipping to the UK, £5 for Europe, and £7.50 for international. And of course, those shipping charges are only charged once, no matter how many coins you buy. So even if, let's say, you bought 20 coins and it took me 15 packages to send them out, I still will only charge you that one charge. So go nuts on that. But that's how you go about it. Go and check out that thing there. I've just had another super chat in from one of my biggest supporters, Dwayne Large, and he is one of the first people to get some of my coins. I made sure that I sent them out first because he ordered loads of them from me, but they've gone all over to America. So hopefully he'll be posting pictures soon. In fact, I think he definitely did one on Instagram before the stream. So thank you very much, Dwayne. And I'm looking forward to seeing those coins go with you on your adventures. Hardback is asking where I live. Well, I'm not telling you exactly, but you know I live in Coventry. I'm not too shy about saying that. It's not a problem. In this day and age, it's really difficult to stay anonymous, especially when your face literally is on YouTube. So by all means, if you are in the Midlands, in the UK, or passing through or whatever, let me know. And we'll go to Birmingham Whisky Club, which is my local whisky club in the next town. Paul Gibbs says, you're honest, no pretentious notes, solid reviews. Thank you very much. That's exactly the point of the channel. Is the one thing I get asked a lot is, don't you ever want to sit there and expand on your tasting notes? Well, let me tell you, when I'm off screen and I'm doing my research, I get all those tasting notes. You know, I get all the fancy tasting notes. But for me, the point of my videos is to give you as much information as quickly as possible within a short time frame, but without overloading people. So for me, it's I don't want to convey what I get. I want to convey what I think most people will get. So when we're talking about space eyes, I like to talk about apples. When we're talking about Islers, I like to talk about what kind of peat we're getting, whether it's kind of medicinal or burnt wood or bonfire, or, such like. Very, kind of easily identifiable things. Because I think things like prunes. Prunes is a great example. I get prunes on some whiskies, but not everybody will smell that, and not everyone knows what prunes smells like. So I don't think it's in my interest to say that sort of thing on my videos. I'm going to move on to this last one. We will carry on streaming, don't worry. This one is the Smurgen Barrique. 7 years old. That's 60.3%. The only reason I've left it till last is because of that high ABV, and apparently it's got a peaty nature to it. I don't know much else apart from the fact that it held the Barriques held Bordeaux wine in beforehand. But I think I might review this on the channel with what I've got left of this. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. While I'm smelling this, I'll have a look at the chat. Jason says, check DM. Good idea, pal. Jason's meant to be sending me DMs with all of your comments. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I did miss one. Sorry. Lincoln Russ. That was a while ago. Sorry, buddy. You get recommended while I was searching for whiskey. That's brilliant. That's what I love to hear. This is a great example of YouTube doing work for me when I'm not doing anything. So people like my videos, and it's recommended my video to Lincoln Russ because of what he likes to watch. So they thought he might like to watch this because you guys watch all of the channels, blah, blah, blah. And it links them all together. And that's what I love about YouTube. Blogs don't get that. You have to do all the work yourself. And Google might feed into you, but you will always be beaten by the big heavy guys like Malt Reviews and Whiskey Fun and things like that. Perfectly great websites. But if you're a small blogger, there isn't much helping you apart from yourself. Whereas YouTube does a hell of a lot for you if you make good content that people like. And that's the really key thing. The best metric, talking about YouTube now, sorry if this is boring you, but the biggest metric is how long people watch your videos for. So if one person watches your whole video, that's 100%. If one person watches half of your video, that's 50%. On average, most of my videos get watched about 40%. So you get this kind of curve like this. and it dips off at the end. It's really interesting stuff, actually, when you get into the background of it all. Did I miss anybody else? No, I said everybody else, I think. Yes. Yes. Thanks, Jason, though, for sending them through. I've got my phone on silent. I should turn it up. What else have we got here? Step by step, as Roy told me. Yes, step by step indeed, Greg. Ben Mark says NNW reviews still carry interesting stuff about the distillery and company, which I love. Yeah, I do try to do the first 2 minutes or so. I try to drop a little bit of information about the distillery or bottler or whatever, because although all of my research is done online, I'm not some kind of clairvoyant or whatever. I don't just know this stuff. Sometimes I read a book. I've got the yearbook here. The 2019 version's in my bag. Carry that around with me everywhere. So I do my reading for sure. But the internet is a wonderful place, so I do check out a lot of it on there. And funnily enough, that still doesn't please everybody. Sometimes I get a comment saying, "Get to the dram already" and things like that. But you can't please everybody. Grow a thick skin. If you ever want to do YouTube, grow a thick skin for sure. Wow! Ding, ding, ding. Ebhead has just given me a super chat, a princely one as well. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the 5K win. Love your work, man. Hope you can convert this oil money to a dram or two. I do love the oil money. Cheers, buddy. One of my loyal Norwegian compadres. Excellent. I hope one day when I'm back over there, we might be able to meet. Maybe we'll see. Greg's saying very curious about the Swedish stuff. Very sorry. I am holding it and not sniffing it and talking about it. But before I do, another super chat's just come in. Roy's popped in. He's even at a tasting, but he's popped in for a super chat. Thank you very much, dude. Good old Roy. Roy is a bit of a legend. Everyone knows that. He's making absolute waves in the whiskey world, and it's an absolute honour to be his friend. That's all I can say about that. Let's talk about this quickly before I talk about anything else. It's got bags of that red wine influence on it. Funny enough, it's portraying its youth a little bit, I think. It's a different climate in Sweden, pretty much similar-ish to Scotland in terms of the consistency between day and night cycles. If it's cold in the day, it's cold in the night, that sort of thing, right? Whereas like Kentucky, Thailand, whatever, it's hot in the day, cold in the night. Let's try a little sip. Sweet Jesus. There is a lot going on in there. That is high ABV, lots of spice, and not a little bit of peat in there all at once. That's going to take some picking through. While I'm deciding what I want to say about that, I'll just want to say thank you to Bourbon Professor. He said he's ordered 2 coins. Thank you very much, dude. And I've just had another super chat from Whiskey Jason, who is an excellent channel from Germany. You should check him out. He does two channels, one in German, one in English. And his unique selling point is not only is he an American in Germany, but he covers, I think you like to say, rare and exotic whiskies, which I love. It's like the exact opposite, but the exact complementary channel to my channel. We rarely cover the same thing at all. So if you're interested in rare and exotic whiskies, the stuff that I don't really get my hands on, and I genuinely have no idea how Jason affords it all, but more power to you, buddy, for being able to get hold of them. But if there's ever anything that I'm not sure about before I buy it, I go and check out his channel first because he's usually covered it. Go and check him out. Keith, yeah, so down here, so I'm just scrolling through. Greg saying Keith is quoting other channels. Yeah, Keith the Malted Man Cave, excellent channel. He's just like me. He's got a little room in his house. I think he's in his basement with his mate Dave. Extremely down to earth fella, really good. You should go and check him out as well. I'm not sure if he's in actually. Yes, Gus is saying really 40%. I'm not sure what you mean there, buddy. Did you mistype that? This one that I'm trying now is 60%. But yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Let me try another one. Try another bit of this because it was massive. I'm going to see if I can not have such a reaction to it this time. Mm. So first, the sherry notes are there, and the peat is kind of like this. It's a warming peat. It's not a medicinal peat. It's a kind of freshly charring wood peat, not like a dead bonfire peat. It's not like your Ardbegs or your Lafroigs. It's more like Kalilas or something like that. Really good. I saw this was on Master of Malt for £100, you know, and this is another kind of thing that I would never go and spend £100 on this without being able to try it first. Macallan, fine and rare. Doc, dude, water, he says. Let's do it. Couple of drops, nothing major. Now, the difference between this and the 22-year-old one, 22-year-old Klein Leash, I didn't see the oils going nuts in this straight away. I'm not sure what filtering process this goes through. I genuinely don't know anything about this whiskey, apart from what I read on the bottle, which probably did say, to be fair, but, you know. Quick shout out as well, Glyn McKnight, thank you very much for the super chat. And, of course, Low Tier Blonde as well, 5K. You're a big boy now, Sonny Jim, congrats. Now, I'd just like to say quickly about Low Tier Blonde. Changes his name all the time, but he has done a couple of channels in his time. He does Cult of Red Barrel, and he did I forget the name of it now, actually, but it was a Japanese music interest channel. And when I first decided I was going to do this thing, I reached out to him because he's been my buddy for years, but he helped me out immeasurably understanding the initial nuances of YouTube when I had nobody else to reach out to. So thank you very much, dude, for getting me started on that. And thank you very much for that super chat. You're a legend. Whiskey Wings as well. Only able to pop in quickly. Got an early flight tomorrow. Yeah, literally drinking out your glass now. Thank you very much, dude. We must meet up again when I'm back in my hometown. I promise you. Yeah, and just to add on to that, Loto Blonde is worried about my liver. You should be, my friend. You should be. I'm nowhere near the alcoholism stage, but I probably do drink a lot more whiskey than I should. But never mind. Never mind. Gus is 40% of your view. Yes, it really is, mate. But yes. Okay, more on this. Let's do it. Okay, that water has managed to bring that peat more to the front, which, in my opinion, is to its benefit, because the peat was overshadowed by that huge ABV. You know, again, 60.3%. There aren't many whiskies on the market that are pushing above that, especially not for the price, I should say, as well. But just a couple of drops of water has managed to bring that down just enough to let the other flavors edge through. The red wine took a bit of a beating as well there, and it's become a little bit less sweet. I was going to say sour, but I don't think that's fair to say, because that sounds kind of negative, sour, but it shouldn't be a negative. It's just a tasting note. I quite like sour things, so when I say sour, I don't mean it's got worse. I mean it's just changed. That's all. Now, actually, I didn't know what I was going to expect from this one, and I threw it into this tasting flight above a lot of amazing whiskies, and I threw it in because I was so interested in it. And I'm really glad I've tried it now. I've tried a lot of Swedish whiskey recently, but only from McMira. In fact, I've got two down here. I've got the Brooks whiskey, which I have covered, and I've got this one, which will be an interesting one, Mac. And when I say interesting, I'm genuinely not sure what you guys are going to think of this when I cover this. Marketed towards the younger generation, which is a really weird thing to market towards, I think. It's the same thing that Hay Club did, right? So it's like fanciness over substance is what they... I mean, I haven't tried this. This is the rep gave me half this bottle when I helped him clear up his table at a festival recently. So he just said, "Do you want to cover this?" Yes, I do, and that's it. Genuinely, that's all that happened with that. So I'll be interested to cover that, but honestly, I don't have high hopes for it. I mean, knowing McMira quite well, I imagine it's fine, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably £10 too expensive, but we'll see. I will have to try it first, of course. It's Jen saying, is that the same stuff from your dad's birthday? No, it isn't. That's downstairs. I took a hip flask of a Kalila 9-year-old 60%er, which was exclusively bottled by Canmore for my whiskey club. That's what I took to my dad's birthday. Exclusive information there. Right, I'm not sure which one I want to try again here. If you guys have been watching along, any of these you're interested in hearing me talk about again, I will try them again. My favourite has been the Kleinleash 1995. Probably no surprises there. And then I think it's been the Longmorn 1973. Maybe I should have done them blind, but I'm not sure how interesting that would have been. I think, ironically, actually the Rosebank 12-year-old might be my least favourite of these, but that is just purely because it's not exactly my flavour profile. It's a beautiful, stunning dram, but the triple distilled nature of it makes it very easy drinking, and that's fine. There's a time and a place for that. I'm enjoying my Irish whiskies at the moment. Very, very interesting stuff that I'm covering, but there's a time and a place for them, and I prefer bigger, bolder flavours, I must admit. So let's go for the Kleinleash 95.5 based on Jason Whiskey Wise. I'm also going to check my direct messages quickly just in case I've missed anything else from Jason. I think I've got it mostly covered. I've been doing quite well keeping up on it. Yes, I have. Brilliant. Okay, so my favourite of this flight then was the Kleinleash 1995. Shall we try to go a little bit more in depth in it? What do you think? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Now, this is one of those things. It was 130 quid when it came out. And I've never tried a bad signatory yet, but I haven't tried loads of them. I'll be honest. I haven't tried loads of them. I usually try them at festivals, but I've never bought a bottle because I'm too afraid of that sort of money. Too afraid of that sort of money. I should just trust it and go for it. We'll see. Let's answer a few questions while I'm smelling this. Ben Marnock says, Rosebank triple distilled. That's what I understand, yes. The original Rosebank distillery and this 12-year-old particular, the Flora and Fauna version, was triple distilled. Just what I read on the bottle. That's all I can say about that. I just love the smell of this thing. So, thing to remember about this. So it's I'll go more detail now. I do know a little bit about this bottle. I made some notes beforehand. It's bottle number 8,673. If you're interested in that, so if you're interested in finding this bottle that I'm talking about, that's the one. I dread to think what it's like on the secondary market. You know me, I don't advocate secondary market. If you must buy something, then carry on. Oh, mate, right. Whiskey Bowman says, blend them all with White Walker. Dude, this isn't Rex month over on No Nonsense Whisky. I can't be doing that. No. Yeah, Whiskey Geek says, delve a bit deeper and give us a bit of nonsense. Funnily enough, I did get a comment recently. Let's see what you guys think about this, because I've been tempted to do a video responding to negative comments because some of them are hilarious, and I would love to show the world about what I get sometimes, because some of it's ridiculous. Very, very rarely is it like personal, but anyway, the guy said says No Nonsense Whisky, gives us 5 minutes of nonsense, which I thought was hilarious. He's probably right. Anyway, back to this. It's obviously a cask strength one. The percentage was 56.3%, and it's aged in a refill butt. Funny enough. Hmm. One of the notes I did write down was that there are 609 bottles of this in existence. Hopefully, most of them are open, but I doubt it. Mm. Now, now I did add some water to this glass earlier. I don't know if you saw, but then I added more whiskey to it, so it's brought it back up again. But it's the fundamental thing I'm getting from this is oranges. It's not like a huge orangey flavour, and it's more on the finish than anything else. But absolutely sublime. A little bit of honey on there as well. You know, it's. I would say it's not like massively complex, but it is just well rounded, and it packs all the punches that I like. Mm. Whiskey Geek saying, "Did you mean cask number?" Yes, I did mean that. I don't know what I said. What did I say? Probably bottle number. Did I say bottle number? Never mind. You know what I meant. And Greg saying, thought you would have liked the Longmorn better. I did like the Longmorn, but I don't know. There's something about it. Let's try it after this. I'm going to have a little rinse out, and I'm going to have another go on the Longmorn. Just for you, Greg. Mm. Let's see what we got on the Longmorn again after all of that. Now, this thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, this is an incredibly complex dram. I think the only reason I've said that it wasn't my favourite of the night is because I know how expensive it is. It's a really stupid thing to say, isn't it? But if I'd have done this blind, maybe it would have been different. But price really is a factor for me. And after this dram is gone, I will never try this again, I'll wager. And the annoying thing about this is that probably neither will any of you. And that's the reason why I don't like to cover stuff like this, is because I'm not trying to lord it over anybody with, oh, look at all the expensive whiskey I've got. I don't want you to watch my videos and never be able to try what I'm trying. So for that reason, it's I can't mark it up. I know Jeremy at Social Sippers Club, he likes to give a score, and then he deducts or adds based on whether he thinks the price is too high or too low. And that'll just happen with this. You know, anything that's now on secondary market, discontinued, whatever, will have to lose points for me. Let's try it. Mm. And Garcia, sorry. Sometimes when I'm doing a live stream, I forget that people haven't watched from the start. This is the Longmorn Gordon MacPhail 1973 42-year-old whiskey. Absolutely insane. And I think, do you know what? I have to say, I'm a little disappointed about the ABV of it. That's a stupid thing to say again, isn't it? But for me, it's just a little thin on the palate. A little thin on the palate. Mm. Yeah, not my favourite of the night. Stunning, and extremely grateful to have tried it for sure. But for me, I've got to be wowed on the profile. Mm. Whiskey Geek saying the whiskies I get regularly most excited about are completely unrelatable. I get that. I had to make a decision to focus on stuff people can easily find and then go off on tangents. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I do. You'll see my list. You know, like I've always said, so I'll go out and buy the relatively cheap stuff, bring it to you guys find it interesting. But then when a company like Douglas Lang calls me up and says, would you like a sample of a 1960, 58-year-old grain from the North British distillery, I certainly do not say, no, I only cover cheap whiskey, thank you very much. I say, chuck it over to me and I'll get it on the channel, which is what I did. What was this Longmore's ABV, Vin, says Greg. It's 43%. Yeah, just a little bit too thin. I think they must have watered it down to that. I mean, I can't imagine after 42 years that the ABV would have been much higher than that. But yeah, personally, I think it's a bit of a shame. Never mind. Let's go back to this Clynelish 95 because I think that's probably the best way to wrap it up. I've seen a couple of people joke about the quiz. Unfortunately, there's no quiz. Sorry about the no quiz. And again, I'm not going to do a Roy special and go on for 2 hours either, because I am certainly no monologuer, and I wouldn't want to take that. I wouldn't want to take that staff off of Roy as well. He does that just fine without anybody else. Yeah, Ben Marnett says, enjoy the pricey stuff in, but don't forget your roots. Exactly, and that's exactly what I'll do. For me, I like to do things like I always have a Glenfiddich 12-year around, because it not only is it where I started, it's one of my first whiskies that brought me into single malts, but it grounds me. When every few months I'll have a dram of it, and it reminds me where I've come from, and it grounds my palate again to really appreciate the subtleties of something like that. Because if you get too into your really expensive whiskies, you start to taste thinness on things like Glenfiddich 12-year and such, like, you know, your 40% supermarket single malt whiskies, that sort of thing. You know, they've been watered down to get to the 40%. They're mass produced, they're chill filtered, they're added color, whatever. They're the kind of antithesis of everything that we as connoisseurs and big fans like. But for me, I like to try it every now and again, just to keep myself in that kind of zone, because that's where I would always like to be. You know, if I end up making my millions one day, wouldn't that be lovely? Then of course I will buy expensive whiskey, but I will also share that expensive whiskey. There won't be bottles sealed, stashed away. Definitely not. Can't be dealing with that. Jimmy Jazz says no quiz. No, sorry, buddy. Did not plan a quiz for tonight, because it's Roy's thing, right? I mean, I know, you know, no one owns the patents to quizzes, but I think it's important for that to be part of the VPub, and I will never be able to match the quality of the VPub, I don't think. But, you know, maybe if I ever go live like this, it will always be on Roy's off weeks, so that I can take up the mantle between them, because I will never compete with Roy on a Thursday, because there's no point, right? I'm going to drink a little bit more of this Clynelish. Whiskey in the Manor's in. Whiskey at the Manor. That is Whiskey Freedom, and he was the guy who supplied this tasting flight to me. He says, late arrival to the party. I would say absolutely not. I would say you've just arrived at the perfect time, because now you get to watch 5 minutes of me instead of an hour of me, and you can enjoy, I mean, greatly enjoying these whiskies. Thank you very much for that, indeed, and being an excellent supporter of the channel. This Clynelish 22 is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Do you guys want me to try one more? One more before I go? Why not? Which one do you reckon? How about the... let's go with the Schmurgen again, because it was peated, so I want to finish on the peats. Dude. Stu Baby says, Dibs called on when you're a millionaire. Take a screenshot of that, and if I ever become a millionaire, send it to me, and I promise you I'll sort you out. There you go. Promised. Oh, people are telling me to go to the Rosebank. All right, fair enough. I did say it was probably my least favourite of the night, but again, it's that's a quality difference, because they're all stunning. You know, if this could have been in a different lineup, it might have been the head of it. But let's go for Let's go for this one again, and I'll probably take my time over it a little bit, and let's have 15 or so minutes to talk about this one. What have I missed? Gus has got a SMWS Longmorn 14-year-old at 59.6%. I'm going to warm this up a little bit. Oh, and Stu Baby says, great tip on he resets with the Glenfiddich 12 as well. Yeah, I really do think it's a good tip. I picked that off of somebody else as well. You should definitely try that. You know, go back to something that you tried years ago, and don't just dismiss it if you don't like it anymore. Try to decide why you don't like it anymore and why you think your palate's moved on from that. And then keep trying it, you know, keep going for it, and then go back to it every now and again, just to keep yourself going through this kind of cyclical nature. Because if you go on a path that only gets better and better and better, eventually you're going to outclass yourself, or get yourself in horrendous debt trying to buy these, you know, these unicorn drams. And I honestly don't think unicorn drams are long for this world. I think NAS is the future, for better or worse, and I think craft distilling is the future. And more of these little distilleries are popping up, and they're doing incredible things in just 3 years. And I don't think they'll ever put out a 20-year whiskey. Cotswolds Distillery, great example. I don't think they'll bother ever putting out a 20-year whiskey, because I don't think it's in their best interest to keep those amazing casks maturing for any longer than they are, really. But we'll see what happens. Jason says maybe 3 drops of water in the Rosebank. Let's do it. My pipette doesn't give out much. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Whiskey in the Manor says, did you confess to everyone that Longmorn is really Hay Club and the Klein Lish is really Bells? Shh. No, I didn't confess that. But I did say that the Longmorn was the only one that was already open when I got to it. So you could have done whatever you wanted with that one, I suppose, couldn't you? Let's have a look at this with water. Toby Phil says, have you ever craved a whiskey so much by the time you got to it you were really disappointed? Have I? Oh, I don't know, because usually that craving makes me believe whatever I want to believe by the time I get to it. And usually when I crave a whiskey, if crave is the right word, I crave a genre. So sometimes I'm like, right, I really fancy some peat tonight, and that peat could come in any form. You know, I'll drink the Lafroig Select, which is probably the weakest of the Lafroigs, but it's got its place in my cabinet and I enjoy it. But probably bourbons. I would say bourbons. My brother's leaving. Cheers, Alex. Catch you later, dude. Yeah, sometimes I'll be fancying a bourbon, but my palate won't be in the right frame of mind for it, and I'll pour it, and I'll wish I hadn't. I should have stuck with some Scotch that night. I really do like bourbon, but I have to be in the mood for it. Whiskey Bone says I drowned it. Yeah, the extra drop did it, right? Stew Baby's talking about Wolfburn. It's exciting for me at the moment. I have tried a few Wolfburns. I've liked some expressions more than the others. I think they need to adjust what they're doing with their casks, maybe. I don't want to be too critical of them because they're doing wonderful stuff, like you say. But I think at 3 years, there are other distilleries doing better whiskies than them. Probably a bit brutal, but their pricing is perfect, I should say, as well. So, you know, again, Cotswolds, great example. They're putting out 3-year-old whiskey at 50 quid, which is a lot of money, whereas Wolfburn are not charging that much. So there's a difference in quality and a difference in price that probably matches quite well. I haven't covered any Wolfburn on the channel yet, but I shall. Let's see what the water's done to this. I'm not sure about that. The finish on this thing is the best thing about it. A little fruity, like the pineapple things I was talking about much earlier. Quite nice. The fizziness has gone. It was because I said earlier it was like fizzy fruit drops or something, like, you know, like sweets. The fizziness of it's gone, but the spiciness is still there. It's just a really, really gentle dram. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. It really is lovely, but by some margin, it's not my favourite on the table today. Mm. This would sit well with modern day Irish whiskies. I think it's kind of that kind of light, kind of herbally, grassy notes to it. I'm enjoying it. I really am. I think the nose is better than the palate. In order of preference, nose, finish, palate, which is a shame. I think the palate should be a bit better. Mm. But again, don't get me wrong. Incredible whiskey. Probably not worth the aftermarket prices now. The auction prices. Guys, I think I'm going to have to wrap it up. It's pushing on. Whiskey friend, he says, I just made it. I'm just about to close up, dude. Sorry to do that to you. But I would just like to say again to how many people are watching still? 37 people. Thank you very, very much to every single one of you who are watching right now. You're the best of them. But thank you very much to everybody who's clicked the subscribe button over the last sort of 2.5 years. 5,000 is an absolutely insane number that I genuinely never thought I would hit. And it gives me enthusiasm to keep pushing on, because if I can hit 5,000, I can hit 10, and I can just keep going and going and going, right? And just like Whiskey Jason is putting in right here, if you are interested in my coins that have been featured in this video today specifically, the coins are 103, 104, 105, 106, and 107. And I am going to be doing a little bit of a Scotch test dummy vibe in future videos, putting them on my whiskey classes. And so if you are interested in grabbing one that's been on a video, keep watching videos in the future. Link in the description below. Go to my website, see how to order coins. If you're after a specific number, you will have to be quick, because first come, first serve on those numbers. I'm not holding numbers for anyone in particular. There's a spreadsheet on there that shows what's available and what's not. So you can go on there, and I'll update that tonight. So once I've got my first round of emails through, which I'm sure people have come through, I'll do that. Very long-winded, but basically go on there, check which number you want, let me know what number you want. Send, it's £10 per coin, £2.50 to the UK shipping, £5 shipping to EU, £7.50 to America worldwide. And that doesn't change depending on how many coins you buy. So let me know what coins you would like. And again, thank you to everybody for watching and for even showing remote interest in the coins. One last thing as well, I do have a very, very, very limited amount of flasks left. These will also ship worldwide, and I'll put them in the same box if you are interested in these. Now, I am selling these still for the introductory low price of £15. So if you are interested in that as well, drop me an email and I will quote you for that in the same thing as well. So if you're interested in the coin and those, let me know. We'll probably also be chucking in a couple of little badges to some individuals at random, I think, because I've only got a handful of those left as well. Anyway, thank you very much for everybody for watching. Stewie Baby says, keep it no nonsense. I will do my best. You guys keep me leveled. If I ever get too nonsensey, I'm sure you'll let me know. But I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing. There's going to be a few little changes to the channel over the next year. Hopefully, I'm going to get more out and about like I did at Glengoyne, but I need some better equipment first. Besides the point, I'm saving up for it. Buying these coins will definitely help me do it, because this money all goes back into the channel. Again, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you again on more No Nonsense Whiskey videos. And I promise you, I will do more live streams just like this, not once every other week like Roy does, but let's try a little bit more often than basically never. Thank you very much, everybody. You're all superstars.